First we'll get a piece of chalk. Started off yesterday and I said a person is always aware if they're in their conscious state or hypnotic subconscious state. You're always aware. Now, we probably hypnotized how many? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 people yesterday. And they all were aware of everything we did, we talked about. They knew their surrounding circumstances, and yet tested some of them and found out they were in a deep state of hypnosis, and my false statement to them became true. I said you can't do something that you did all your life. And all of a sudden, they couldn't do it. Couldn't lift your leg, couldn't spread your legs out, move them out, stretch them out, couldn't get off the chair, couldn't lift the arm. Things we did all the time, all of a sudden, couldn't do it. Totally aware. So let's not call it hypnosis a trance state. Let's call hypnosis a state of awareness. That's the first half of the definition. And if we do it this way and we get to the point where we have a kind of a uniform of discussion and explanation, then maybe the general public will get a better idea of what hypnosis is all about. Then I said, we all have a brain. The brain doesn't weigh 4 pounds, yet contains about 400 billion brain cells. And guess what? They don't touch each other. Isn't that strange? Yeah. There's a space between them. We call it synaptic gap. Messages go through. And there's fluid in this brain. So when a message goes, we'll talk about it tomorrow or today, later on. When a message goes from one brain cell to the other, it goes through the fluid and it lands on a little dendrite, a receptor on the dendrites, a hair-like fiber. We'll discuss that. Then it goes along the dendrite, into the nuclei, and on the axon, and out the synaptic gap to the next one. And all these billions of brain cells, these dendrites, have all kinds of receptors. Each receptor receives only one message. That's it. Like putting a key into a lock. Another message doesn't fit. So your brain runs every cell in your whole body. We have one brain, 2 sides, one body, 2 sides, one mind, 2 sides. And all those cells you have in your brain and all the cells you have in your body, there's not one cell in your whole body or brain that's called mind or consciousness. Your mind does not exist in your body in any shape, any form, occupies absolutely no space. And the strange thing is that subconscious mind can extend thousands of miles and still be there. Because I have hypnotized people and I sent their thoughts 2,000 miles away, and they will tell you exactly what's happening 2,000 miles away, and they're someplace else. They'll describe everything in detail. They're not even there. They're here. If we have an opportunity, we may do that tomorrow afternoon at the end of the session, if we have time. All right. So what you're doing with your conscious thinking process, you feed the brain. Everything that you experience, all of your thoughts, all your emotions and feelings, it's all put into the brain for storage. And scientists say you can take all the information in every book in the whole world and put it in your brain and not fill it up. Unlimited capacity. Unlimited. So you're feeding all the time. And once you put it in on the conscious side, you lose control over it. Because you can't go in, you can't change it, you can't take it out. It's there. In most cases, you can't access it. If you have an opportunity, you may decide to analyze this incoming information, like you're doing what I'm talking about. You say, hey, I don't know if this guy's right or wrong. You begin to grasp all your old past experiences and thoughts and say, something coming in and says, I don't know if I can really buy that. But if you accept it, because for you, it's important, you believe it, there's some truth in it, you can use it, you're going to put it someplace into that brain for storage, intending to use it. The more important it is, the more believable it is, the oftener you're going to use it. Find a seat someplace. And since it all goes in, the rest of the information that doesn't fall in the category of acceptance is relegated or rejected to the junkyard. File it way back there. Never intending to use it. Don't care about it. Most of it is in the junkyard. All right. Once it's there, can't do anything with it. So normally in adults, the conscious mind is the boss. Subconscious mind sits down below. And I said, you know, they have a conversation, they talk to each other, communicate. And subconscious mind says, hey, buddy, it's your job to analyze, to gather, to put in, to make decisions, choices, perceptions. You put it in for storage. And the brain and I, we're going to carry out your messages. So I like to say the brain is a billion of tiny pockets sewed together. And each time you put something in, you put a little message in there. And what the subconscious mind is doing is reaching in, read the message, put it back again, tell the brain what to do based upon what's in there. All right. Well, you've got some message in here that you acquired over the years, either by design or by stress or for some reason. It's in there. And since everything we do is preceded by a thought, you've got some thoughts that you don't like anymore. And you want to get rid of them. So if you have all kinds of messages in there, and you decide, well, I'm going to change what I do, so I'm going to put in a message that's contradictory to the old ones. The subconscious mind says, brain, what's this not trying to do? Put something different in here, and I'm going to take that message and file it into the junkyard, because we don't intend to use it. Somebody wants to quit smoking for 20 years. Hey, that cigarette really makes me relaxed and comfortable. I enjoy it, it's nice. But it's beginning to kill me, so I want to stop it. Subconscious mind says, no way. Subconscious mind doesn't analyze. It takes it as it is. So we file that into the same junkyard. All right. So you as a hypnotist, you got to make that subconscious mind the boss, because you have to access that memory bank to get rid of some of the problems that's in there, some of the messages. So you have to take that conscious awareness and make it less efficient. And how do you do that? You do an induction procedure, which is eye closure. You do a couple of deepening techniques. You do a progressive relaxation. And then you do the testing. Is that subconscious mind the boss? And how do you know? Because when you give a false statement and that false statement becomes true, you can't lift your leg, something you did probably 100,000 times in your lifetime. All of a sudden you can't budge it. Can't do it. Then you know they're ready for therapy. You see, I'm the biggest liar in the whole world. All my therapy are false statements. 20 years you enjoyed a cigarette, and I says from this moment on and for the rest of your life you have no need and no desire for a cigarette. The very thought of putting a cigarette in your mouth causes your whole body to rebel against it. Is this true, what they've been doing for 20 years? No. I just give them a different statement. They enjoyed it, I say it's lousy. See? Woman came to see me, she was drinking tea all the time, and she had a kidney problem. And the toxicity in the tea for her was offsetting the medication. The doctor says, stop the tea. She said, I can't stand water. Couldn't drink water, only tea. So I says to her, tea for you tastes like urine. Water tastes like tea. She drank the water and tastes like tea. Couldn't stand the urine to drinking, see? Give a few more suggestions besides, but just flip the taste. That's all we did. How simple. Yeah. All right. So when you take the conscious awareness and push it down the subconscious mind, acting like a teeter-totter, we push the conscious mind down, subconscious mind comes up by itself. We want to reverse it, we bring the conscious awareness back up again, and the subconscious mind comes down. You only work with the conscious mind in the deepening techniques. You either push the conscious up or down. Subconscious mind, as a matter of course, follows. On the conscious level, you're selectively accepting what you intend to use today and tomorrow. You're making your own choices, your own decisions. The rest of it goes into the junkyard. On the subconscious level, everything is automatically accepted unless the patient decides to reject your suggestion. So that means you have to phrase your suggestions in such a way that they're not prone to be rejected. Everything not rejected doesn't have to be accepted. If you don't say, no, I don't buy it, you're stuck with it. You don't have to say, yes, I agree with you, it's okay, I'm going to do that. If you're silent and you try to do something contrary to the suggestion, there's no way you can do it. But if you say, oh, yes, I can, then they can do it. Everything not rejected goes into that brain as an absolute truth. Therein lies the problem and the solution. Because most of our problems have their origin in unintentional spontaneous hypnosis through stress. When the conscious awareness is so mixed up, frustrated, it says, I got to take off. Subconscious mind, you take over. Subconscious mind is there primarily to keep you alive and keep you healthy. You ever have a chance when you're on a roller skate or when you're a child or on a bicycle and you're going along on the bicycle and all of a sudden you flip over? Yeah. What happens to your hands? Out they go. Never thought about it. Or you're driving along the highway, arm is sitting out there, windows open, and all of a sudden a speck of something comes in and the eyelid comes down. Oh, it's a good thing I closed my eyelids. Hell, you didn't even see it. Had no time to think. Subconscious mind says, brain, we got something coming, flip the eyelid down. Thousandths of a second, something happened. That's right. Suppose, for example, I were to ask you to go through the door and get me something. And as you open the door, on the other side of the door, there's a great big guy, dirty clothes, and he's got a shotgun in his hand. You open the door and there you are, looking right into the barrel. What would you do?
Jump aside.
You jump aside?
Close the door.
You think so? I think you'd stand there in utter shock. Start to tremble. Probably a little beads of perspiration on the forehead and maybe somewhere else. You see? Shaking like the Dickens. And I'll say, it's okay. That's my gun. He fixed it and he's bringing it back to me. Then what would you do? You turn to me and says, oh, hell, he scared the hell out of me. And what did we just change? We changed your perception from something dangerous to something okay. And like that, your emotions and feelings changed. See the difference we're talking about? You saw something and you perceived it to be dangerous, and your body began to respond. The subconscious mind says, hey, brain, we're faced with a dangerous situation. Get that heart pounding, adrenaline flowing. She may die of shock, fall over. And then I say, it's my friend. He brought my shotgun back, and subconscious mind says, hey, false alarm, brain, shut it all down. Whole thing is shut down. Like that, you see, bing, bing, bing. Something happens. But it doesn't happen until the brain is told what to do. I said, the gentleman, would you stand up yesterday? And how many muscles did you move? He had no idea. Sat down. You make a decision to do something, and something happens to your body. Based upon what? Your decision. So as a therapist, if a person isn't doing something right, there's a message up there that you have to get rid of. How do you know what it is? Who cares? How do you know when it got there? Who cares? You know it's there. You have to get rid of it. So I've used a library technique, and the results are fantastic. Take the whole thing, from the beginning of their life to now. And you package all of the thoughts, all of the experiences, all of the emotions and feelings, all of the fantasies and all the dreams they had about their problem, and in one lock, stock, and barrel, you pick up the problem off the shelf, and you hold it in your hand, and you tell them what they're holding. Their past experiences, their past thoughts, their past feelings, emotions, as it relates to the title of their problem. Whether it's stress, pain, smoking, alcohol or drug, cancer, you take the whole thing and say, we don't want you anymore, and you throw it out. When you throw it out, what you're doing is making it no longer in this category. You'll file it in a junkyard. Don't intend to use it. It's unimportant. Real easy. Somebody came this morning and said, got a child that's a year and a half old, vomiting, upset, crying, can't sleep. What would you do with that child? I told her, and she said, what? That's it? All right, we got a child a year and a half, crying, vomiting. Why is this happening? There's a message in there one way or another. Somebody can say, well, you get rid of some messages that probably have to be there. So we got rid of the messages, real easy. Anybody want to give who hasn't been here early this morning, who would listen to it, a suggestion of what we can do? You're going to be faced with the same kind of problems. Can't do something. And I don't know why. There's a message up there. So you have to get rid of the problem. This afternoon and tomorrow we'll talk about two things. We have an emotional problem and we have a physical problem. And they are entirely different, and you treat them entirely different. There's no cell in your body that's pain. That's love, joy, depression, anger, hate. That's emotion. And no surgeon can go in and extract the pain from your body and put it on the table, and then get the love and put it on the table, and get the depression and put it on the table and says, man, look at that. He's got a lot of pain. No love? Look, all that depression this guy's got. So if somebody comes in and says, I've got all these problems, I said, that's okay. I have a friend who's a surgeon, and he's going to open you up and take your depression and put it on the table. And they look at me like I'm nuts. How the hell are you going to do that? I'll say, well, why can't we do that? He says, well, it's not material. I said, you're right. It's emotional. If it's not part of your body, why don't we just get rid of it? And how do we get rid of the emotion? Let's say we've got anxiety. How do we get rid of anxiety? Show of hands. make a person relax. Anybody else? Yes?
Put it in one of those books and just let it.
Okay, put it in one of the books and throw anxiety book away. All right.
Remove the cause.
Pardon?
Remove the cause.
What's the cause? No, no.
Positive thoughts. Change the habit.
You put in the opposite symptom. You get rid of the old and put in the new one. You see, a person can experience, can hold, can retain two contradictory symptoms. You can't have lots of love and joy and laughter and be mad and hateful. Doesn't mix. So what do? You put in the new one. And when you put the new one in, why does it work? Back to the same question. Why does it work? It doesn't accept it as true. There's no acceptance, understand that. Why does it work? They're right there on the board in front of you. Why does it work? Yes? No believability. Come on. What?
The subconscious stores it.
No.
It doesn't get rejected.
So what?
Since it doesn't get rejected, then
It's automatically true.
it's automatic.
That's why it works. Because it works because if it's not rejected, it goes in as an absolute truth. If it's not rejected, it's true. Acceptance plays no part in that end. So hard to get that through. People say, I got to buy it, I got to believe it, otherwise it ain't going to work. And I say, bull. And I said, young lady sitting here, I said, you try to make me a liar. Come on, you try to push your feet out, and you find you can't even budge them. And she said, I'm trying, and it ain't working. Did she say, yes, I accept it? No, I said, reject it. But you see, it was too late. Your option to reject the suggestion is limited in time. The deeper the state of hypnosis, the farther you separate these two, the faster you have to exercise the option to say no. And sometimes a half a second or 2 seconds is too late. Once it's in, you're stuck with it. That's right. Yes?
So many of the physicians in our area say to patients, your depression or your anxiety is a chemical imbalance and you have to take medication for the rest of your life. And so they're convinced that this is not about
Go ahead.
except that they believe that and nothing else will happen, nothing else will work.
Okay. She said that we have a chemical imbalance and we're taking medication to do what? To restore the balance? Why do we have a chemical imbalance? Why do we have it?
We believe it's there. There's a message there that says,
No. Something got screwed up. Your body is out of balance. It isn't functioning like it's supposed to. Is that right? Yeah. Give me a chemical that could be out of balance in the body. Or dopamine, right? So what do we have to do? We got to put it back in balance. If we're short of dopamine, we have to get some dopamine. If we're short of serotonin, we got to put some of that in there to put a balance in there. Where does this all come from?
the brain.
Not the brain. Serotonin and dopamine comes from the dura mater around the brain. All right. So what do? You say, hey, brain, we got a problem. You're short of dopamine. The stuff that comes out of there, put in there. This body is totally out of balance. We're short. We're too depressed. We're too excited. Got to straighten it out. What is the regulator in the body that controls most of this activity and so forth. It's got a hypothalamus. It's like a regulator in the back of your head down in here, you see? And all the messages that go through, so at your right side and your left side, they act together. Instead of you're going to walk, you go. You can't do that, you see. It's not right. Or when you're walking, you got, hey, too much activity on this side, so let's do the regulating in there. Your whole body's get regulator after regulator after regulator. All of your emotions and your feelings, your symptoms and your senses, they take a circuitous route getting into the brain, except the smell. It goes direct to the brain. That's the only one. Other ones, they all make changes. So it's easy to work with smell because it's right to the brain. Smell this, hey, and it causes something to happen. Boom. Just like that. All right. I had a gentleman come to see me. His immune system is out of whack. Too many. His lymph nodes were just popping up, and his immune system was destroying his kidney and his liver. And he's in Florida, and I've got, somebody asked me yesterday about bringing something. I've got the stuff here for him. He's in a hospital in Florida, Orlando, for 2.5 months. 7 nationally known immunologists working with him. And he's going bananas. Temperature sky high. And they're feeding what they call corticoid steroids, immunosuppressant. The last 21 days he's in a coma. Finally we got out of it. He was sick and tired of being in the hospital for 2.5 months. He runs a computer manufacturing company. He called his friend in Phoenix, and he said, "You're a hypnotist, and I read someplace that hypnosis can help the immune system, and mine is out of whack." He says, can you help me?" She said, "I can't, but I know who can." So she called me. She said, "I got this friend down in Florida." I says, "Bring him up." He came up about 7 o'clock at night, checked out of the hospital, just took off. I had a 3.5-hour session with him. Sent him back, and he spent the night with my friend and her husband. Next day, he was back in a plane back to Florida. Back in balance. I said, "Brian, this immune system is out of balance. For Christ's sake, will you shut it down? Don't make so many." How ridiculous. Balance this immune system. I taught him self-hypnosis so he could do his balancing. I have a letter here. You can come and read it. I take time sometimes to read it, but I get a little bit caught up in the feeling I get from some of these people that send me letters. They think I'm so great, it's so good. So you see, all you have to do, when we get to AIDS patients and cancer patients, we do things differently. We work with the body, we do things differently. But we're here today, so far up to now, talking about our emotional feelings and symptoms. So easy by making a suggestion, taking out the old and put in the contrary one. You see, I told you open up the health and happiness, the success, desire book. You got another one? You want a school book? You want a test book? You want a golf book? You want a football book? A baseball book? For every benefit you're looking for, there's a book you can put in there. Got a book for every problem, book for every benefit. And what is in those books after you get all through? Whatever suggestion you give them in a state of hypnosis are automatically recorded and entered into the new books, the Health and Happiness, Success and Desires. You say, these are recorded and a permanent record. that controls your conduct, not only today, but tomorrow and every day. And you locked it in. And the brain has no choice but to follow your instructions. That's all that's left. If there's nothing there, nothing gets done. See, the good book says, ask and thou shalt receive. Who are you going to ask of? Jesus didn't say, ask me. He said, ask. See, I always feel that the subconscious mind, and this may have a contrary with this here, but let me express my opinion. Your subconscious mind is your immortal soul. Talk to me. Ask of me and I'll get it done for you. If you never ask, nothing happens. So when people talk about your hypnosis being a work of the devil, that's a lot of baloney, see. So express your feelings one way or the other, but it's not the work of the devil. All right. So your job as a therapist is to get that conscious awareness from here down to here by progressive relaxation, deepening techniques, the long ones I use, the classroom, counting backwards, the progressive relaxation, the numbers, the falling leaves, any kind of a deepening technique. When you say, when this happens, it causes you to relax. People come to see me and they want to pass the polygraph test. Polygraph test measures increase in body activity. So what do? I check out and make sure that they're not on the wrong side of the law. When they were in high school or college, they probably tried some substance that shouldn't be used, and they say, well, it's 10 years ago, 15 years ago, why should it hinder me from my job now? So I said, as you think about taking that polygraph test, your very thoughts cause you to relax deeper and deeper. All this is in hypnosis. Every step that you take into that polygraph examining room causes you to relax deeper and deeper. And as you sit down in the chair where the test to be administered, cause you to relax deeper and deeper. And as they put the monitoring instruments on your body, cause you to relax even deeper and deeper. And each passing moment that the monitoring instruments on your body cause you to relax deeper and deeper. And every word spoken to you by the examiner cause you to relax even deeper and deeper. And every word that you speak, regardless of the words that you use or the intent that you wish to convey, causes you to relax deeper and deeper. And those needles never budge. See? Don't do this for everybody, because it's not to be used for everybody. But you're assisting somebody who needs a job, or who needs a promotion or something, who has a family and who has children and is a stable person in the community. So he made a mistake and he stumbled his toe. Why should he be penalized for the rest of his life? See? Like some woman gets raped in the back seat of a car, somebody grabs her and runs her in there and rapes her, see? Oh, she got raped, don't touch her, leave her, stay away from her, see? That's ridiculous. Not her fault. So why should we condemn her because she had nothing to do with it? But people are that way. And husbands are that way too. They don't want to go to bed with her because somebody else has violated his private place. See? All right. Okay. Any questions on what we're talking about today? Why does hypnosis work?
It's not rejected, it's true.
You're right. It works because if it's not rejected, your suggestions are true. That sounds so simple, doesn't it? So easy. So let's make it complicated, make it difficult. That's not the way it should be. It should be always simple and easy. I didn't do my homework. What's coming up next? Okay, we got a workshop scheduled Why don't we do age regression, I think, and then do the workshop after that. And it's very difficult to put it all together. You can't hear it once and say, I got it. That's true. We got some people here that have been before, and Peggy's come to see me several times. We talk over the telephone at least once or twice a week, and she's got some problems. I keep talking, and I get calls from everybody, and not everybody, but from all over the country. I make tapes, and I'd say the same thing to you. If you have a patient that is a problem, and you can't solve the problem, or you don't know what to do, and they're coming in, you got my telephone number on most of the pass-outs. You have it on the brochure. If you don't have it, I have a couple of cards, not too many, but take my name and my telephone number. Call me anytime. If I can't give you the answer over the telephone, I will make a tape for you and send it to you. And it doesn't cost you a dime. All right? I had just recently some woman down in Maryland call me. She says, this pilot is coming in, and he has to take a simulator test in order to advance his grade. How the hell do I handle that one? We spent about an hour on the telephone. I told her how. And she worked with the pilot, took the test, passed with flying colors. See? There's so much that you can do with hypnosis. Expand your therapy. Okay. Let's get into age regression. I like the library concept because it's so nice, it's so easy. I told you yesterday that if you want a person to see something, you tell them what they're going to see before you put them in a position to make this observation. You can say to somebody, as you walk around the corner, this is what you see when you go around the corner in their mind. And when they go around the corner, sure enough, they see what you said is there. If you send them around the corner, he says, now this is what you see, I got news for you. They'll see everything else but what you thought they're going to see. You have to do it ahead of time. So when you get them into that classroom, you do a deepening technique. You say, all right, look around. There is a door that leads from the classroom. If you want anything to be clear and clear, then you have to repeat. Repetition, repetition, repetition. And you don't do it so it becomes monotonous. So you say, there is a door that leads from this classroom. When you recognize the door, nod your head, yes, I see the door. And they nod their head, yes. You have to know, are they following your thinking? They say, yeah, I see the door. Fine, all right. The door you're looking at leads to a library. Oh, you know what a library looks like, don't you? A library's got bookshelves, many, many bookshelves in rows. And on these bookshelves are many, many books. Library is quiet. Library is pleasant. A library is a good place to go and think. Before they even open the door, you got 6 libraries in. So walk over to the library door, open the library door, step into the library, and close the library door behind you. Now we got 10. What else are you going to see in there? You said library over and over and over again. You got the picture already developed. Look around in your library, and when you recognize the bookshelves, nod your head, yes, I see the bookshelves. Told you yesterday. When they see the bookshelves, they're going to see everything after that. And we're talking about 97, 98% of the people see the bookshelves. Now what do we have to do? had to send this person and stand between the bookshelves and look down the aisle. Well, when they get to the aisle, you want them to see something down the aisle. And they're going to see nice books on one side, not so nice on the other side. So you have to tell them what they're going to see before they get there. So you say, in a moment, I'm going to have you walk and stand between two bookshelves and look down an aisle. And when you look down the aisle, you find the books on the right side, pleasant books, nice books, books that have been read and books that have been used. Books on the other side, not so nice. It's never a bad side. It's never a traumatic side. It's never a terrible side. It's only a not so nice side. Don't increase their problems. They're not so nice, that's all. All right. So go ahead and you walk and you select any aisle you want to go to, and you stand between the bookshelves, and when you look down the aisle, you see the books on the right side, nice ones, on the other side, not so nice. Just repeat it again. When you're standing between the bookshelves, nod your head, yes, I'm standing between them, looking down the aisle. Now you got them there. You see, you got them just where you want them, and they're seeing exactly what you want them to, what you want them to see. So what do you say? As you look down this aisle, all these books are about you. Wow. Whole life laid out in front of them. But now you got to break it up. You got to be specific. And you have to repeat several times. All these books are about you. You see, in this aisle is recorded everything you ever did in your whole lifetime, all of your thoughts that you had in your whole lifetime, all of your emotions and feelings you had in your whole lifetime, even your fantasies and your dreams. You laid the whole thing out in front of them. Hey, let me tell you, the books on the right side, the nice books, they hold your nice experiences, your pleasant thoughts, your good feelings and emotions, even your nice fantasies and your beautiful dreams. The books on the other side hold those not so nice. So you just divided their lifetime in half. The good experiences and not so good. So when you go back in time on the right-hand side, you never run into a problem, a traumatic situation, where they'll start to scream and holler at you. Never do that. So what do you say to the person? Keeping your eyes on the right side, look on the right side, and stay with the right side if you want. Slowly, very slowly walk down the aisle. You don't say walk down the aisle slowly. You put the slowly ahead. Slowly walk down the aisle. And if you like, touch and feel the books as you go by. Walk halfway down the aisle, stop. When you get halfway down the aisle, reach up on the right side. Take a book off the shelf and hold this book in your hands. I forgot. These books are full of pictures. Anyway, all right. Oh, I'm a little ahead of myself. Yeah. Let's go backtrack. You explain about the books on the right, books on the other side. Nice books. The books closest to you are the books about you and what you did recently. That's your most recent experiences, your most recent thoughts, your most recent feelings, your most recent emotions, most recent fantasies. Recent, recent, recent. And farther down the aisle, the books about you when you were younger and smaller. These books contain what you did when you were younger and smaller, what you thought about when you were younger and smaller, how you felt when you were younger and smaller, even the dreams you had when you were younger and smaller. And way on the far end, books are about you when you were just a baby. And these books contain the things you did when you were a baby, what you thought about when you were a baby, and how you felt when you were a baby. And these books have pictures, pictures of everything that you ever did in your whole lifetime. I'm not going to ask you what's in any one of your books. Not important that I know. Frankly, I don't care if you want to say that. I'm not interested. They're your private experiences. We're not going to invade into it. Make them feel assured that you're not going to pry into their past life. Okay. Now keep your eyes on the right side, slowly walk down the aisle. Walk halfway down the aisle, reach up on the right side, and if you watched me, I put my hand up when I said right side. Did you notice that? Take a book off the shelf, hold the book in your hands. When you start with the library, you go through the motions yourself. Because, you know, somewhere your thought may drift, and you don't know, does he have a book or doesn't he have it? Is it back on the shelf or is it in his hand? Oh, I don't want to figure out what I told him. So you hold the book in your hands. I already told him what this book is about. You do it again. This book is about you when you were younger and smaller. And this book has pleasant pictures of the nice thing you did when you were younger and smaller. So open this book to a picture about you doing something pleasant when you were younger and smaller. You see how we put it in over and over again? When you see a picture, just nod your head. I see a picture. And you wait. You see, the picture is like a Polaroid picture. It has to develop. If you don't see a picture, shake your head no. If they don't see a picture, say, turn the page. Picture there? No. Close the book. Put the book back on the shelf. Either do the same thing with the next book or have them walk down the aisle farther. It's not important if they don't see a picture. Because if there's no picture in the book that they opened up, in that time in their life, they didn't have a nice experience. Their experiences is recorded on the other side. So don't be concerned about it. Walk all the way down to the end of the bookshelf and stop. Take one small step backward. Why do we take a step backward? Pardon?
You were born at the end of the aisle.
You were born at the end of the aisle?
That's before birth.
What?
That's before birth or birth time at the end of the aisle. So
When they were, no. When they were conceived. That's the end of the aisle. You want them to experience and tell you about their experiences when they were in the womb? Take the first book off the shelf and you can talk about it then. And you'll be surprised. My mother's dancing. My mother's smoking. Yeah, bouncing me around. How would that child know that she's dancing or smoking? I'll be damned if I know. And frankly, I don't care. I'm not here to analyze all these little things. If she says she's dancing and bouncing around, that's good enough for me. So we take one step backward. We take you out of the womb. Took a while to put this together, piece by piece. Reach up on the right side again. Take another book off the shelf and hold this book in your hands. When you have this book in your hands, nod your head, yes, I had this book in my hands. Nod the head, fine. This book is about you when you were just a baby. And this book has pleasant pictures of the lovely things you did when you were just a baby. Why don't you get this book a hug and a squeeze to your chest? Just add a little bit to what they're doing. You see, it's a treasure book of lovely experiences when you were just a baby. Open this book to a picture about you doing something pleasant when you were just a baby. You see how we repeat some of these things? If it's important, repeat it, get it in, get it in. The oftener you repeat it, the clearer the picture. Oh, okay. Now you can ask them, about how old are you in this picture? They'll tell you. How are you dressed? Or what are you doing? And who's with you? Fine, close the book and put the book back on the shelf. Age regression, took them back in time. We don't know what time. You can ask them in the book, you know, they're going, how old are you in this book, and this book, and this book? You can ask them. They'll give you an idea what it is. You want to take them back to a day certain? Person says June. Pick a date in June. What? 6. What year? 1971. When you walk and stand between the bookshelves and look down the aisle, the books on the right side have numbers on it. The first book that you're going to see is 1994. What's the next book? 1993. 1992, 1991, How far back you want to go? Fine. When you get between the bookshelves, look down the aisle, just nod your head yes. The books on the right side, do they have the numbers on it? Is the first one 1994? If you told them ahead of time the first book is 1994, believe me, that's what they're going to see. Walk down and you pick that book up. Walk down and you find the 1990 book. When you see the 1990 book, nod your head, yes, I see the book. Take that 1990 book off the shelf and hold this book in your hands. And this book contains and holds everything that you did in the year 1990. Now what do we do? Pardon?
It has months.
Yeah, you've been here before. Okay, all right. This book has 12 chapters. One chapter for every month of the year. Chapter number 1 is January. Chapter number 2 is February. Yes?
If you say it that way, is there a tendency to put some of the negative things in there?
It's all in there. Whatever you did. We're not talking about the good books, good experiences. We're talking about age regression to a particular time.
So
All right?
It's not just the books on right.
No. The books on the right side hold all of your experiences. We're talking about two different things. We're talking age regression to a day certain. We're not talking about taking care of the therapy. So we use an aisle. Now, if you want to do two things, you can say this aisle has these books, and the next aisle has those other books, the nice and not so nice. Because the library's got lots of aisles, the library's got lots of rooms. You'd be surprised how much you can use in a library. A multitude of benefits. All right, so this one has an aisle with, on the right side, these books. And every chapter begins with number 1. And that's the first day of that month. So you open the book to chapter number 6, or chapter number 6, and the moment I'm going to ask you to turn to page 6. Now, if you want them to see something, you have to tell them what they see before you put in a position to make that observation. So what do we want them to see on page 6?
Pictures of what occurred that day.
Yeah, they want to see something that they did on June 6th. So turn the page up to page 5. And now when you turn to page 5, you see a picture on page 6 is the first thing that you did on June 6th, 1971. The very first thing that you did on that day. Turn page 5 to the picture on page 6. And do you see a picture? Yep. Tell you what I'm going to do. In a moment, I'm going to snap my finger like this. The next time I snap my finger, it causes that picture to come to life. And all the events that you experienced on June 6, 1991 start to unfold. And the picture comes to life. And they see the whole day laid out in front of them. And when the day is completed, your activities for that day is complete, the picture just fades away. And they will tell you what they did. I got out of bed, I did this, this, and this, and I went here, and I drove my car, and it goes on and on and on and on for the whole day. Yes?
Wonder if part of the experience is very traumatic.
Might be. Might be. No question about it.
And then they emote.
That's right. But you trying to do ahead of time and says, hey, was any particular problem that time? If it is, why don't we start in the afternoon instead of the morning? You see? 4 o'clock in the afternoon or 6 o'clock? Whatever you say is true. All right.
But why did you say 5?
Pardon?
You said something about June 5th and then slid
You stop at June 5th. The next page is June 6th.
Right.
When you turn page 5, you see the picture of June 6th. Is the first thing you did on that day.
But why did you bring 5 into it?
Realized expectations.
Because I didn't want it to go to 6.
Just yet.
That's right. Turn first five pages. Now you're at June 5th. And when you turn page 5, the first thing that you did on June 6th is a picture. The picture on that page, page 6, is the first thing you did on June 6th. You still with me?
I'm
Did I lose you?
confused. No, I'm confused.
You're confused. Page 6 has a picture of the first thing they did on June 6th, 1971.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
I want them to see the picture before I put them in position to make the observation.
Oh, okay.
So I stop on 5.
I got you.
I tell them they're going to see on page 6 when they turn page 5. I got to tell them ahead of time. Okay. So I tell them what there is on 6, and then I have them turn page 5, and I say, do you see the picture? And they say, yeah. Now we bring the picture to life. And all the events begin to unfold the whole day. See? I had a guy come to me one time, and he said I was involved in an accident. And he said, I don't know what happened. I was so drunk, he said, I don't remember anything. And I'm charged with causing the accident. But I don't really know. I don't think I did it. I said, okay. He came in, the whole face was all one scale over his arm. He just like torn loose. And I said, fine, I did the same thing. And I said, when you turn the page, the first thing you did that day. You see the picture? He says, yeah. Bring the picture to life. This guy's a motorcycle man. And the whole event unfolded for the whole day. He told me every bar he went to, every drink he had, who he talked to, all the stories and the jokes they told for the whole night. 1 o'clock in the morning, he leaves the place, he's ready to go home, walks out and gets on his motorcycle, and he's got to urinate. So he goes behind the place and urinates out there. And as he gets on his motorcycle, he's ready to take off, he almost got involved in an accident with the guy out of the parking lot. And they had some words. So he took off, and his car followed him. Out of the parking lot, down the street, down the street, down the street, kept turning going on. And the car pulled in front of him and slammed on brakes. And he flipped and went underneath. The guy had presence of mind that had outstanding traffic warrants. So he started to take off. Ran across the street and going through a parking lot for another establishment, and some guys grabbed him, bleeding all over the place. They held him there. You didn't cause the accident. You didn't cause the accident. Paramedics came, took him to the hospital. Didn't know anything about the paramedics. Didn't know anything about the parking lot. Didn't know about what happened in the hospital. Finally came to later on. And I said, go back to that place, that establishment, and find out who was there when the accident happened. And he did. And they explained to him what happened. Went back to the police department, brought the names of these people. He's off the hook for the accident. The guy's dead drunk. I did something silly. I like to play games once in a while. I put him back on that motorcycle just before the accident. I had him ride backwards. And this guy's in a chair, and he's going, oh, oh. I said, pardon the expression, he had a couple of words. This so-and-so bike is going backwards. He says, riding on a bicycle, going backwards one corner. And this guy's going nuts. Brought him all the way back to the parking lot. Strange. Played the whole tape backwards. Yes?
Do you do past life regression?
I'll talk about that later. Okay. But you see, there's so much that you can do because you work on the person's memory. You play it forward, play it backwards. Make any difference? So I do a lot of silly things once in a while. Yes? We'll stay with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
One person can only approximate things like
Can't hear you.
What if a person can only approximate the time of the trauma?
The question is, what if a person can only approximate the time? Well, then you approximate the time yourself. You think maybe the 6th. It wasn't the 6th. Let's go to the 7th. Let's go to the 8th. Work the calendar up and down. If you're going to guess, then don't turn to page 5 and say page 6 has a picture and your problems are there. Once you got to page 5, you can't put a picture back in there again. So we start with first. See, you say, okay, we'll try first. And we'll work up to 5, 6, 7, and so forth, and carry the whole day through. If you want to work 4 or 5 days together. If you can work one day, you can work them all.
I guess what I'm thinking is, for example, if I have a client who was sexually abused around the age of 4 and she has no idea on what...
Oh, hell, you're talking about a problem now, not a date. Okay, yeah, it's easy. You reach up and you take your rape book off the shelf. What does rape book hold? What does a rape book hold?
All of the thoughts and memories, experiences around the rape.
How many rapes?
All of them.
That's right. It holds every experience you had with every rape. All your emotions and feelings you had with every rape if you had more than one. All of your thoughts, your dreams. Open the rape book. And what you see at first page, all the first page is always blank. You sit on the floor, in the aisle, put your back towards the not-so-good books, put your rape problem in your lap. Problem now, it's not a book anymore. In a moment, I'll have you open the cover of your rape problem. And the first page is blank. And when you turn that first page, there's a picture there of the first time you ever experienced a rape, the first thing ever happened to you. And you turn the page, and there's the picture. And you bring the picture to life. And she goes through the whole rape experience. Now, you can do this 2 ways. You can put her there, and she's seeing herself do this, or you can say that you are now standing across the street, and you see somebody looks like you going through this. So you don't bring up the trauma for herself. You make a third person. So she's observing something like I would observe somebody else getting raped. I wouldn't have the feeling that the person has. And you will see this. Okay. And when that event is totally incomplete, the picture fades away. The next page is the next time she was raped. Picture comes to life. Turn the page again. Third time.
You rip out the pages?
No, you just turn the page. Turn the page. But she sees herself as a third-party observer. Okay? And she'll explain to you everything that she did as it goes as to rape. In detail. In detail. I had a girl come to see me one time, and she got raped about 9 years earlier. And she was grabbed in a parking lot, hustled into her car, and the guy was driving. And the guy said, "Don't look at me because I'll kill you." He raped her, undressed her and raped her, and beat her up, and threw her over the bridge into the river. River was dry or just muddy. She fell in there and crawled in naked someplace. Cop says, "Well, who is he?" "I don't know." Came to see me. She described him in detail. Everything that happened. Remember going to the house where she made the telephone call. The whole thing just developed as it went along. And I said to her, "What are you going to do? Statute of limitations ran on that. You can't get the guy arrested." She said, "I want to know